Hello, everybody. Welcome back to X-Plane 11. Once again, you are looking at the AirfoiLabs King Air 350. This was released recently. We're going to be flying this today from Seattle to Spokane. We are on the ramp in Seattle right now. The traffic you're seeing in the background, that is live traffic. It's a free plugin that's not what World Traffic does. Basically, this uses ADS-B data from actual ATC sources. That airplane right there you see in the background landing is doing that in the real world right now. So we have real live traffic, real world weather with active sky in real time in the sim. How amazing is this? It's pretty awesome. Now, the AirfoiLabs King Air 350 has a few quirks, a few bugs. It is very new, and it is constantly being worked on. A lot of the bugs that are there are being worked on, and they will be updated with the AirfoiLabs updater that comes with the airplane. So here we are on the ramp. Let's have a look around and see what it's all about. I'm going to spin around here to the left. You'll notice we have a lot of remove flight tags all over the airplane. We have a GPU sitting outside. I'm going to show you how interactive this aircraft is. It is $50, but you're going to see why it's $50, because this is like no other GA of this size I've ever flown an X-plane as far as features go. So be ready for some mind-blowing things. We can start off by going up here into the cockpit, and we'll get up and we'll walk to the back. It's just barely sprinkling here in Seattle right now. We have people, but we can remove them through this menu right here. We have the weight and balance. We just do crew only, and they'll go bye-bye, which we're going to do, but I want to show you how that works. Why are you not doing that? Let's see. Crew only, get out of my place. Apply that. There we go. Because I didn't do it right. That's why. All right, on back we go. And these doors are all clickable. Like, you can close these the front cockpit doors here, as you can see right here. I'll do it here in a second. I got to get a little bit closer to them. Come on. Where you at? We got to go over here, I guess. Kind of a finicky thing. There we go. So you have doors there in the front. Walking to the back of the airplane, we have doors in the back. This is the, the cargo hold, and the door is open right there, but you can close these doors as well. Yep, pretty cool. And let's walk outside. Beautiful day here in Seattle. I'm just kidding. It's gloomy as hell. You'll notice all these glowing green spots. Now, you can turn that off in the settings, but the reason for them is they're clickable spots for you. So you can open this up and check it out. You've got a place to put in some cargo like that. You have the chocks. You can remove the chocks, or you can set them down. We could go ahead and take the tie downs off the airplane. That's the first thing we're going to do here. Static wicks, those move in the wind. Let's go ahead and remove these guys. Actually, up here is the best place to do it. You got to find that little green spot. There it is right there. So you got to reach underneath there and do that. How cool is that? We're not doing a proper walk around. You have to do it in a certain way, but instead we're going to do it this way. We'll leave the chocks there for now. Well, actually, let's go ahead and remove them. Remove from flight things here. You'll see this flashing. What is this, you ask? Well, you can open it up and look at the airplane's engine. How crazy is that? And you'll see there's the oil cap right there. But look at the attention to detail in this model. It's absolutely amazing. Over here to the top, we can hit this and check it out. It opens up, and here comes the oil dipstick. This is not currently modeled at this time. As you can see, you can't really tell. Maybe a little bit there at the bottom, but for the most part, from what I have done, I have not noticed anything to do with accuracy when it comes to that. So I'm assuming it's just for fun. Go ahead and close that. Continue. Oop, hit the wrong button. Oopsies. Let's fly it back out there. Over here, we've got some remove flight things here like this. You can remove those. And the actual props will windmill in the wind if the winds are really, really, really whipping. Okay, I turned off the labels for these guys. I don't know why they're continuing to show on live traffic. Let's turn those off again. Okay, there goes somebody taking off there. Remove this guy. And then we have one on the inside over here. Really, really cool stuff. Now, another thing about this airplane is you will be able to leave everything as is. See, there's a remove before flight. I already took off. As is, meaning you can leave all the switches and everything you left them, and the airplane will remember that, which is really cool. Really gives you that feeling that it's a real deal. Let's go ahead and remove that. Remove this. We'll walk over here and we'll take this tie down off. I left the ground plug in here. This is for refueling, and I'll show you what that is in a minute. Let's take that out. Go underneath here. And we will remove this. This is going to be an extensive first look because I know a lot of people are on the fence about this airplane due to some of the bugs and the customer service kind of style that AirfoiLabs has shown in the past. Now, I've noticed that they have been very active on the forums. They're very proud of this airplane, and hopefully they're going to continue to stand by that. Now, if we hit this, it'll open up and it will put a fuel truck out there. But before we do that, we can go ahead and just come over here to the menus system. And here we are greeted with the menus for the airplane. These are your panel states. You have cold and dark, before start, before taxi, and before takeoff. Keep in mind, I will tell you this from experience, when you're flying and you're coming over here and you're using these autopilot panels, make sure you don't accidentally click that. You hit that, you're going to be in trouble when you're in mid-flight. Now, some of these will be grayed out when you're in flight, and I would love to see this one here in particular be grayed out because, man, you don't want to hit panel states when you're flying. Trust me, it is bad. But here we have the options here. This is the GPU. Now, you might be saying, hey, okay, there's a GPU out here. It's not making much noise. So notice there's a green thing right here. We can turn it on. Check this out. It comes to life. How amazing is that? Now we can go over here and we'll do the fuel truck. So he'll be over there, pulled up to the airplane by the time we get over there. Let's continue. Why is it doing that? I don't know why it's doing that. I think because I'm used to hitting W and I should be hitting period. That's why. Come back here. See the airplanes landing in the background? How cool is that? Just makes it so realistic. Tie down there is good. Now look at the airplane moving around in the wind. Just because we took that last tie down off. Now the parking brake is... Oh, the GPU just died. What is going on here? I don't know. It's not happening. It's not happy with me right now. I must be doing some things that you shouldn't be doing. I'm still very new to the airplane, so that's probably why. But check it out. We got a fuel truck over here. Don't mind the avgas 100 LL. We're putting some Jet A in this bad boy. That's something that probably needs to be addressed as a fix. But I mean, you could put avgas in it. You just won't get too far, or you'll end up destroying the engines in the long run with a turboprop. So here's the ground wire there. That's the ground the airplane. So you can see the ground wire goes over there to the truck. Now check this out. We open this guy, and we're greeted with this. And yes, it actually runs over and it's modeled into the actual truck. So you can change the unit price of how much fuel costs for extra realism. We'll say it's $1.85. Let's be honest. It's gonna be like $2.26 or something. I don't know. Refuel rate, you can decide how fast you want to go, and you can reset the counter here too. So we can reset the counter. So total gallons here is at 0. Say we wanted to put some fuel into this thing. Here's our weight and balance guy. Here on the left wing, right over here, we're at 132 gallons. We probably could fill it up more, so let's watch how this works. You want to press this little guy right here, and we're filling the airplane up with gas. I mean, look over here. We'll go over to our weight and balance, and you can see it is going up. We're at 889. Close that guy. Man, okay. Weather is improving here at Seattle as we do our pre-flight. So you can do things like that. How cool is that? If you want that extra realism, it is there for you. You can do it on both sides of the airplane. I love that so much. Let's make sure these are about the same, though. We want 928 on the right. We want 928 on the left, then. We'll just do it the cheater way. There we go. That's good there. Close that. Plenty of fuel in this airplane. We can tell him he can go bye-bye. So we'll just look away while we tell him to go bye-bye. I like doing that. There we go. All right, so we're going to be going to Spokane today. Let's not waste too much time. I just wanted to show you how detailed this model is. It's absolutely mind-blowingly good. Let's hop up here into the airplane, and we'll close the door behind us. I love the texture work. It is absolutely stellar. Absolutely. All right, let's click this guy, bring him up. There we go. And look at that. It turns. We go over here, and we can even close this. We don't need that door open anymore. And check this out. We have little tables that open. You have a tablet that opens up. Nothing displays on it currently. That'd be nice if that would be something there. But hey, you know what? There's a lot of features here. And you'll notice here at the bottom left of the screen, if I go down here, this is your camera system. You can move the camera around wherever you want. Check that out. Even if you wanted to go into different ones, you can hit the camera button and it changes to this. Now you can go into your passenger seats. Look at that. And they're all presets. That is just too neat. You can go out here, the outside, look at the engine, so you can take off the tie downs and whatnot. You know, another that's the pilot view there. A lot of cool little pop-up menus here, and they do float away when you move your mouse away from it. I love that. I absolutely do love that. So we have the ground power unit out there running. Let's go ahead and get external power on the airplane. There it is. And you see the airplane come to life. There's our fuel indicators there, quantity. And you can see this thing coming to life. Let's have a look here at our overhead, and we can put some panel lights right here in the middle. Turn those up. There'll be the green ones. Look at those green ones. Isn't that cool? Turn those down a little bit. They don't need to be overpowering, but that will work regardless. So this has a awesome checklist system in it. You might be saying, okay, where's that at? What is it? Also, before we do anything else, I'll show you there is a lock down here we can hit. This is the lock right there that you do for the control locks. See how it's got the chain around it and all that? How neat is that? You take that off. It'll take a minute for it to come all the way out again, but I wanted to show you that as well. So this airplane is extremely detailed. This requires a lot of studying of the manuals to get a good grip with the airplane. It took me a few hours to get, you know, used to the systems because it's that in-depth and detailed and realistic. So here's our POH down here. Let's go ahead and open it up. Here we are greeted with our general, limits, normal, and performance. The performance table is awesome. Based on all the weights and everything we have here, we have set markers here. We can get those set right here. If I click that, you'll see how it moves that. This is based on the weights that we have in the airplane with nobody in the back, with the fuel that we have. It tells you the runway length, and it shows you the field length required of 3,402 feet. It's all it's going to take to get this thing off the ground. Now that's with flaps up. Now flaps approach, that changes the markers as well. We'll do flaps approach on departure, and you can see it even makes it even shorter. So this is really cool and interactive. I love it. You can go to the second page. There are more than enough options here. You can change all this stuff yourself, but this right here is based off of what the airplane is currently at. So let's go to general. Here's the aircraft handbook. You can open up and look at the specifications of the airplane. Really cool. Limits. Here's all your limits you need to know. Airspeed limitation, maneuvering speeds, VFE, VLE, you have VNEs and all that. Everything right. Max operating speed, VMO, 263 knots, indicated airspeed at sea level to 21,000 feet, and so on and so forth. A lot of cool things here that you can read up. Especially one thing you want to know is your flaps, positive, negative, G's, the speeds, all that. Normal. Here we are with our not inspections, but because I just read that, our checklist. Now you can change by hitting this gear options on the window transparency here of this camera focus, which will move around as it does its interactive checklist. You can go manual, semi-automatic, automatic, or progress speed here, which I've sped up, as you can see, makes it go a lot quicker. Speech, you can have it turned on for checklist items and checklist hints. I have that turned off so he doesn't sit there and talk to you. If you first get this airplane, I recommend you to leave these on as is and start your checklist. It will teach you the airplane 100%. Pre-flight inspection is complete. We've already done all of that. We can move on to the next. Before engine start checklist is what we are going to do here. So exterior condition is checked. Air stair door is locked. We saw that. The cabin loading secure. Passenger briefing complete. We have no passengers on board besides you guys. Instrument, emergency lights, nighttime is required. Parking brake is indeed set. We guess we'll cycle it. Sometimes it's good to do that when you first load the airplane up. Control locks have been removed and stowed. Oxygen system pre-flight is complete. It's pulled out right there, as you can see. Pilot's instrument panel checked. We'll 3097 right now. We'll see what Active Sky is doing. Active Sky is showing me in Seattle. It is showing me 2987. So let's go ahead and just check that right now. 2987, very low pressure system. About right there is good. Okay. Pilot's gyro slaved. Check. Everything's good there. All right. So what we need to do, we can push this here and move the yoke out of the way so we can start this thing up correctly. To minimize ingestion of ground debris, the engine anti-system should be on for all ground operations. We do know that because we want battery bus. Well, let's start off here. Battery bus is confirmed normal. We've got engine anti-ice, which is right here. Those are both going to be on. You can see it remembered where I had the switches last time I flew the airplane. Inverters are off. Yes, they are. Avionics master switch is off. External power switch is on right now. This is all the stuff we need because we are doing a GPU start, which you'll see here in a second here. This is all before engine start. External power is on right now. Auto feather is off. Yes, it is. We've got auto ignition off. Landing gear controls down. We have 3 green. Landing gear control relays checked in. This is the all of your circuit breakers. Now, the circuit breakers are not modeled 100% yet. Clock, control wheel, you know, we can do all that stuff. External lights on as required. Ice protection off. So we go to the next, and it's going to be not a battery start. We're going to be clicking over here to a GPU. Caution, never connect an external power source to the airplane unless the battery indicating a charge of at least 20 volts in the airplane. Now, the battery here is right there, and we can go to the bat and look and see what we got, and we have at least 20. We're good on the voltage of that guy. So Gentai's nighttime manual close right over here. Man closes this guy, goes up into that position, and then this is where you check your voltmeter or your voltmeter right here for the 28 volts. Whenever you check that, so. There's the external power looking good there. We're gonna briefly skim over a lot of the volt checks. There's a lot to it if you're doing it to the book. Apart from that, external power switch is on. We have plenty of volts there. We just checked it. External power annunciator is on and steady. That is right there. Okay, engine anti-ice goes to the on position, which it currently already is. We don't have to worry about that, because we already had them on. And let's just double check it. Yeah, they're on. Okay, sweet. What else we got? Engine anti-ice. Okay, next. Left engine. So to start it up, pretty simple stuff here. We go left engine, we'll go to the starter, which is right there. And then we're going to introduce fuel into the engine by moving it to low idle. So it's going to go ignition, engine start, low idle. We'll wait for at least 13% RPM before we introduce that, because we don't want to hot start the airplane. If we hot start the airplane, you'll have to go to this checklist here. Where's it at? Hot start, hung start. So we'll do condition, leave it a fuel cutoff, ignition and engine start with starter only, and ITT will be below 400 degrees Celsius. Now you might be wondering what the ITT is. It's this guy here at the very top. We want to make sure it doesn't go past that red or up beyond. Right here it says 1,000 degrees centigrade. So we don't want that to happen. So by letting the engine RPM spool up before we introduce that fuel, the more RPM, the cooler the start will be. So let's go ahead and start it up. We'll turn that beacon light on so they know that on the ground we will be firing up. You see the light lighting up out there. It is really, really cool. Let me show you. Look at that. Got the white beacons on this airplane. Very unique in the King Air for certain. All right, enough jibba jabbering. Let's go ahead and fire up the left engine. We go to the left on. And there we go. Oh, engine propel. The covers aren't. Did it? Oh, it might have put the covers back on. Oh, it did. Okay. Well, you can always make sure the remove before flight is taken off. That would probably help before you start the engine. All right, we'll go left engine on. And there it goes. You can see it starting to turn. We've got RPM right here. We want to wait for that 13%. There we are. And it goes into low idle. Make sure our props are fully oh, wait. Low idle there. Low idle there. There we go. Those need to be all the way fully forward. There we go. And we're monitoring that ITT. Check out the ITT right there. 750, looking good. Making sure we're not going to get a hot start on that sucker. Oil pressure looking good. And we can hear that engine coming to life. The sound set in this is fantastic. Let me open this window. Listen to that. All right, so that sucker's coming online right now. And we can go to off for that. We don't need that on right now. And we'll move on. So we can actually disconnect the GPU. So what we'll do here is we'll do we'll do this guy, the gen reset button. What we'll do here in a second. So GPU goes to disconnect, and then GPU panel is going to go switch off, and then GPU light will be off, then left gen reset, then on. So we need to make sure we do that first. So disconnect the GPU first. We'll give them the signal outside. You can disconnect it. All right. External power is off, and now we can go left gen up and then down. Now we're on that left generator. That's what we want. Voltmeter, we can check the left gen at 28 volts. And there she is right there, 28, looking great. GPU light is out, as you can see right there. We have pitch trim off. We'll get that in a second here. Battery is charging, looking fantastic. Now we move on to the right engine. Same procedure. We go up, so we can see that sucker starting to come to life. Did it just kill that left engine? I don't know why it would do that. That's very strange. Waiting for that. You can see it right there. We put these back into low. Oh, it did. Why is it? It's a pain in the butt, I tell you. It is a pain in the absolute butt sometimes when you're dealing with mouse clicking. I should just be using my throttle quadrant, but I'm not. I'm trying to explain it as I do it. And we killed that engine. Great. We'll just wait for this thing to come back online here. Oh, we'll have to start the left engine up. It's just because I went too far back, and if you get near that fuel cutoff, it'll kill you. All right, so we'll do the same thing here. Bring this up and then down. Let's go ahead and start the left engine now. Turn that off. There we go. Start the left engine. We got to really wait for the sucker this time. Bring you back. Watch that ITT. I'm going to make sure it's really cool before we introduce that fuel. Here we go. It's coming to life. Watch that ITT. Looking good. That's about what we want right there. We don't want a hot start. So those are both in low idle position. There we go. So don't make that mistake of pulling those too far back. I've done that too many times. So that's at low idle. Prop levers are fully forward. Prop RPM, we want 1050 minimum. I have it set about right there. We're looking good on the props. So we'll bring them up to 1050 minimum. That's good right there. And just starting GPU checklist is complete. Before taxi is next. Let's go ahead and just close this window. I just wanted you to hear the sounds. They're so well done. We can kill that starter. Switch there. And we're going to double check these guys. They're going to rock this baby up. Rock that baby up. So you always do a gen reset and then on is how you do the do that. All right, move on from the hung start. We want to go to our before taxi checklist. Electrical system, we can check it. We're not going to mess with any of that stuff. You just make sure that your volts are good. Bus selector switch goes to triple feed if you want to double check that. And then we've got, as desired for master panel, cockpit lights, environmental system set. So we want to go over here to the environmental system. Bleed airs are open right there. That's where I had them on before. Before, by default, they would be off, but you want to put them into the open position. And the environmental bleed air to normal is well over there. That's pretty much all you want to do there. We're going to have to do the auto feather to arm here in a second, but it's, oh, it's already there because I remembered it from last time I flew. Okay, inverters. These are the ones we want. Bring them on up. Get inverter 1. Okay, or they're already on. Okay, they're in the middle means they're on. Now we know. Okay, fantastic. So inverters are good. Avionics master switch can come on now, finally. And that'll turn on all our little radios and all our fun stuff here. You have to come down here and turn these guys on. The EFIS powers, by default, they will be off, and your FMC will be off as well. That's another complaint a lot of people have with this airplane, is that the FMC in this is default. It is kind of sad that we don't have GTN 750 support out of the gate for Reality XP. However, the devs said that is indeed coming, so that is awesome. I'm excited for that. Avionics master switch is on. FMS, verify and accept. We'll do all that stuff. Flaps are up. Indeed, they are. Exterior lights is required. Flight and engine instruments. We want to make sure. Something I've noticed is that this thing is usually pretty off. Pretty incorrect, but we'll see what we're looking at because we should be looking south right now. And it shows, yeah, we're south, but yet it's showing north. So these are bugs that'll be fixed eventually. EFS power switches are on. Flaps are up. We already did all that. Cabin lights is furnishing switch is desired. All that's set. Annunciators test in normal. So annunciator is right here. We have AC bus lights still. Okay. It doesn't like something we did. It might be these inverters that are being kind of a pain in the butt on us here. Can't get them. They don't go up any higher than that. Let's reset them. Did that do it? No, it did not. Okay. Let me troubleshoot this real fast to see what we got going on with that. Okay, I just, what I did was I went down here to the inverter, so I went down to bus transfer, recycled them back onto on, and now they're good to go. You can see the instruments are coming to life once again for us there. Okay, that's good. We have down here, we can make sure that we have, you'll see that we have a light here. It says pitch trim off. We want to make sure the pitch trim is on. Sometimes you cycle that and that'll be good. Same thing with rudder boost. This is just from whenever you leave switches where they were last time you flew. You'll see how it's gone right there. Left engine anti-ice and right anti-ice. All we have left prop pitch and the right prop pitch light should be on as well. That's good. Sweet. We're in business there. So the before taxi checklist is complete. We're waiting for our instruments to come to life. We can actually end up changing some of that. So we're going to wait for that to come back online. All right, that is back up and running. What I ended up doing was just after I did the inverters, I had to recycle the EFS powers, and then she was good to go there. So we're going to Golf Echo Golf, which is Spokane. And all we got to do here is we're going to do the flight plan here. We're going to put in Seattle Airport. That's where we're at right now. Let's clear that. Go KSCA. So Sierra Echo Alpha. That goes there, and then we're going to do Kilo Golf, Echo Golf. And that goes there to Spokane. That's all I really need to do for the legs. We're just going to fly direct. We're not going to worry about putting anything else. This is the default FMC from X-Plane 11, so, you know, your mileage may vary, I'll say that much. It's kind of a pain in the butt to navigate all of your autopilot systems over here. By default, your yaw damper and stuff is going to be right there, and your autopilot engages right there. Now, it's so much easier to just come over here and go to your autopilot panel and pop that up, and you can operate right there, which is fantastic. Now, you'll notice this little guy, you can change from a map to ARC to HSI. We're going to be using the map on our departure. To change it to make sure that it's good to go, you want to go to the right and make sure that your push to SW is set to FMS, which it is right there. And we'll be feeding that FMS data into this guy. Now you notice here on the HSI, we don't have it. So you have to hit CRS ACT until it does. So there it is right there, FMS1. You see how that works? So now we have FMS1. And we're gonna put it on the map mode because we can. And we can change our selection range right here. We'll zoom in. And you'll notice on our departure, we're gonna be making a turn out to the north. So that's good to go there. Altitude and all that, let's fly up to 10,000 on departure, or let's do 5,000 on departure. We'll probably end up flying 17,000 feet today. So 15's there. Altitude is armed. We can do nav here. That will arm the nav whenever we turn on our autopilot. We're gonna climb out in indicated airspeed mode, probably around 160 knots, just so you know. That is the plan of action. So we're not gonna be doing a run up on the airplane. No need for any of that. We'll just say that maintenance did that for us today. We're ready to rock and roll on out of here. Finally, I know. So let's go taxi light on, and we'll release that parking brake. And with an airplane such as this, let's make sure that there's no chocks out there. Okay, there's no chocks, because that would be right there. It would be green if that were the case. Brakes are okay there. We're fully forward on the props. And let's just give a little bit of power and make a left turn here. All right, we're kicking up some rain and whatnot there behind us. We're just gonna go over here to runway, I believe it's 16 left. Basically where they're landing. So you'll notice as we taxi, I'm at idle power, and then I just open up into beta range here. And you hear the sound change. That's how you taxi one of these turboprop airplanes. Similar to many other turboprops that you will deal with. You gotta watch out for traffic here because we're not used to flying with everybody on here. I'm loving the live traffic though. It's not a frame hit. And by the way, as far as frames go with this airplane in particular, I have not seen a major hit to it. Nothing like the TBM was. I'm seeing a frame hit whenever I'm taxiing around here at this airport, but it is a pay-where, highly detailed airport. We might have a go-around in front of us, or is that just a normal airplane? Might be. Well, with this airplane, we could do a intersection departure, but we're not going to worry about it. We're going to be lining up and waiting here on 3-4 right. Well, 1-6 left. That's 1-6. That's where we're going. 1-6 left. We'll take off to that. And we're going to expect the western runway into Spokane. Make sure the flight line's clear. We got a big airplane landing there, and I don't know what the second one's doing just yet. Got Alaska 7-3, and then somebody way out there. They're all using that right runway, so that's good for us. We don't have to worry about that. So let's go ahead and go. Lane lights on. We'll do recog lights. Strobe lights will come on. And we're pretty much ready to rock and roll. Let's just do a before takeoff checklist here real fast. Make sure we did all of everything we need. That's all the stuff for that. Before takeoff, final items. You notice prop sync comes on. Let's go ahead and turn him on. Right there. Bleed air valves are open. Environmental bleed air is required. Electric heat's off. Aft heat desired. Blah 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 blah. We're all good on this stuff. Pitot heat. That's one thing we got to double check on. Pitot heat. Don't remember. Those are not on. We definitely need those here in Seattle. Ice protection is required. Auto ignition goes to armed. These guys here. They go to armed, and they are armed. Auto feather is checked and armed. Enunciators are clear. Except for down here, we have our stuff that just let us know the ignitions are on. But enunciator is clear. Check that again. All right, headings and flight directives are set. Prop levers go to full forward, which they are right there. Enunciators, blah, 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 blah. Crew briefing, transponder on, brakes released, and we'll be good to go here. So as far as transponder goes, not really worried about it. Where is our transponder? Oh, it's up here, right in front of us. Duh. We'll go ahead and just squawk altitude here. Now we can turn on our weather radar, which is really cool. We'll do that here in a second. Go into test mode. It'll go into test, and then we can go into weather mode here real fast. We'll probably need this. So it's now in weather mode right there. 15,000 set. Altimeter 2987. Let's go ahead and go flying. So what we'll do is we'll just release the brakes. There's Southwest landing right there. We'll line up on this runway since no one is landing on this runway. And it'll be a good time to take off because that Southwest will be still rolling out. As we line up on the runway, let me go ahead and hit this guy here. So we have our actual timer and all that in front of us. Line up on the runway. When we line up and wait on the runway, we'll move the low idle to high idle for takeoff here. So we'll line up like this. All right, we can start this guy. Yep. I believe that's the button to start it. Yep, we're good there. So this goes fully forward. Wait for those babies to come to life. We're gonna wait for that Southwest. I think he's gonna be taxiing off. No, we got time. Let's go ahead and roll. So release the brakes and we'll set our power for takeoff here. We'll make sure we get them by the red. And you'll notice as we push on those, we'll get the AFX lights, auto feather. So it's going to hold that prop, and we can bring that torque up a little bit here. And he'll call out V1. There we are. He started rotating. He said V2 immediately. We'll just come on up. Gear up. And look at the light come on like that. How cool is that?
Attitudes check.
Yes, they do. Fantastic. Here we are. Goodbye, Seattle. It was fun.
Flaps indicates up.
Flaps are up. We'll be making our turn here in a few minutes. Watching it. We have airplanes on the TCAS here. Let's go ahead and make our left turn. Watching airspeed and everything else there. We're not, we're just flying by hand right now. Watching our instruments. We are in the soup. Not every day we get to fly in the real severe stuff, so this is always fun. I love it. Actual IMC. So we'll do props to 1600 here in a minute. But we're going to get on our downwind leg here first. There we go. We'll look on line up right here. You see our magenta line starting to show up for us right there. And we can open this little autopilot panel and change our selection range. As you can see right there, that's the magenta line we're aimed at right now. Bring that nose down a little bit. So we're at 160. We're climbing through those clouds. Look at that. How beautiful that is. Goodbye, Seattle. All right, so what we can do now is we can actually use a heading mode if we wanted to. And we can use our autopilot system here. So with the heading bug, we can spin him around until we see him. As we climb out of here. Thing climbs out really nicely whenever it's light like this. I'm not seeing the heading indicator. I'm not gonna worry about that right now. Let's just fly the airplane and we'll get it on course here in a second. I was gonna say we could just use heading mode, but I don't know. Sometimes it doesn't want to show up, and sometimes if you do it, you put it away and you bring it open again, and then you'll get it again. Sometimes, not all the time. Nope, we're not seeing it today. All right, not a big deal. We got a good climb happening right now. We're going to be getting on course very shortly. And I'm going to bring these props back to 16. Right there's good. Torque is looking nice. Oh man, we are getting absolutely eaten by frame rates right now. I'm not sure what's causing that. It could just be the amount of cloud layers, honestly. And make a nice right turn here to get it back on course. And then we'll set our autopilot up here. And every time I use the trim, you'll see that turn on the little PFD there. The trim will flash. I'm using my electric trim when I do that. The nice 5-degree turn to the right, breaking out of the clouds here. Frame rates will improve. There we go. That's looking pretty good. So let's go ahead and open up our autopilot panel. And we're going to go ahead and hit altitude here. So, altitude select, actually. Nav is good there. And we can go ahead and go to IS mode. Let's go ahead and, oh, the yaw damper should have been on departure, but we'll turn the autopilot on now. It's a little clunky sometimes. Yeah, we're just getting eaten by frame rates by those clouds right now. And we're double checking everything here. Cabin pressure looks good. It was set to 15, but we can just move that guy to 17 actually if we want to. Is it this guy here? Yeah, we'll just move it to 17, just barely. That looks good. All right, and we're climbing out finally out of the clouds. Indicated airspeed mode is checked. We're climbing about 2,000 feet per minute, 8,000 feet right now. We turn our taxi light off. That does not need to be on. Have a look out the window. And there we go. How about her? Here above 10,000 feet, landing lights are going to come off. It is indeed the cloud layer that's killing our frame rates. I could change it, but I don't want to open up that plugin right now and risk it crashing. So we're not going to mess with it. Make sure our torque is set to about back to 94, 95 right there. Just making sure we're operating the airplane within limits. That's all that matters. We have 5,000 feet to go to 15,000. We can open this guy up and we can zoom out our selection range. And you can see the flight plan there as it is to go all the way to Spokane. Well, you heard that buzz. That means that we're almost to 15,000 feet. I did reduce the clouds through the plugin, so we're getting better frame rates now, but it is the amount of cloud layers stacked on top of each other right now in Washington that's killing the frame rates, because when we look up, it's like really, really crisp, you know, really smooth. It's just the clouds that are doing it. Now, while we're on the topic of that, there is a new product out called X Ambience, and I plan on using that very soon in X-Plane. We're going to give that a shot because I use Ultra Weather XP, but I used the Active Sky as well I use Active Sky for the weather engine. Ultra Weather XP is just for the visuals. So there's 15,000 feet. We're good there. We can make sure about 89 on our torque for our cruise here. Oop, not that much. They do kind of move around a little bit on me. I need to adjust my friction lock here on the throttles. Yeah, they're pretty loose. There, shouldn't move around too much. About 90, 89, 90 is good right there. And we are in cruise, so we can turn those lane lights off. And lane lights were already off. I got those at 10,000. Nav recogs go off. That's what it is. There we go. And now we have a nice flight over to Spokane. About 136 nautical miles to Spokane, and we are at our cruise altitude of 15,000 feet. We're not above 18,000, so we don't need to change that to 29 or 9 or 2. We're just using the local altimeter. Enjoying the view up here so far. Seven nautical miles out right now. We're going to be doing a visual approach for runway 21 into Spokane, but we are going to just double check and make sure we have the ILS plugged in if we need it. It's going to be 111.1. So let's go ahead and do that. 111.1. Transfer that guy. That's active right now. And that's really all we need. We can put it on both sides. I always just do that just in case we aren't set to the right one. But it's not a big deal if we aren't. That is good for me. We can't pick up ATIS yet. We could try, but I don't think we're going to be successful at that. It's too far away. So we have 11,000 feet of runway. Airport elevation is 2,385 feet, so that's going to be interesting. Our final approach fix is going to be about 3,900 feet at Sigyo. So if we're doing a visual for runway 21, we'll just fly down to 3,900 feet, and we'll start our descent when we're about 38 miles out or so. That'll work out just fine. So while we're here at cruise, I want to show you the interactive checklist. I didn't want to do that when we're on the ground. It takes so long. So this is a short one here for our cruise. We just do a start checklist. And you'll notice it starts to do that. It says cruise power set. Now, if I click this guy, we do checklist items. It'll actually call them out, which is really cool. So cruise power is set. We've already done that. It'll say auto feather. Auto feather can go off now, which is right here. Off.
Off.
System check.
Systems check.
That is good.
Complete.
Complete.
Aft blower.
Aft blower goes to as required.
As required.
Comm nav
Communication
radios.
and navigation radios.
Those are set.
Set. Destination weather.
Already did it. 299 for the pressure. Winds are 200 at 7. Landing runway 21.
Check.
Approach procedure. Considered.
Procedure.
Got it. So this is just how it works, and you see how the camera flies around. It shows you all that stuff. Pretty cool stuff.
Consider.
Landing
data.
And that's checked. And cruise checklist will be complete.
Cruise checklist.
It's complete. And you can speed it up too. So like progress speed, I'll even crank it up a little higher than that because he's a little slow for me still. So that's done. It's all green. How cool is that? I love it. Real fast, forgot to tell you, I was going to go up to 17,000, but I'm happy with 15,000. We don't need to go any crazy heights today for this first flight. And it's also fun to fly in the clouds. And you'll see live traffic at the top right, creating airplanes as we fly near airports. And I don't know 100% sure on this, but I think there actually is airplanes in cruise flight, and world traffic didn't do it, just populate them around the airports. So that's really cool as well. While we're in cruise, I'll show you guys the options here in the settings for this airplane. We have, remember, aircraft state. That's what I was talking about right there. You have show arcade 2D panel. When you're outside view, you can actually see everything out there. If I go like this, so you see there's the airplane behind us. If I hit win outside, you have now that. How cool is that? We can hit never for that. Don't need it ourselves. Clickable regions, hide when still, show always, things like that. Show passengers, never when outside or always. And then show pilots. I have those when outside only, but you can actually hit always and check it out. You're actually going to see the guys here in the cockpit with you. They're a little creepy looking. That's the reason why I don't use it. But they are actually animated with the airplane. And if you come back here to the back of the airplane, and say you're a passenger sitting in the seat, that looks a little bit more believable. You see actual pilots up there, you know, hanging out, doing their thing. But I don't want the creeps, so I turn that off. Alpha when airborne. When airborne, the throttle position will be restricted to alpha. Means you can't accidentally bump it into beta range, which is reverse. Environment sound, you can change all of that stuff. You can turn on and off the pilot, co-pilot callouts. You can change the volume of them, and the checklist speech volume as well is all right there. That's pretty much all of the options when it comes to this airplane. There's a lot of airplane here to mess about and have fun with. I'm definitely enjoying it myself. Like I said, I wish we had a little bit of interaction with this tablet. That would be pretty cool. All right, we're just about to start our descent, so we're going to turn the auto feather to armed, and we're finishing up this checklist right now. It is indeed armed. And ice protection is required, as required. You already know all that stuff. And
as required.
I'm going to go ahead and pause that guy so we can do our thing. We are 39 nautical miles out right now, so I'll show you how we make our way down here. I'm going to open up the autopilot panel, and all I'm going to do is go over here. We're going to do 5,500 initially. So we'll go down to 5,500. So to do that, click him in, and now we can move to hundreds. Oops. Push it in. Come on, you can do it. You can do it. 3, 4, 5. There we go. Just like that. And we go into vertical speed mode down to 5,500. So we'll go into VS, and we just click this guy a few times. Hold it a little bit. We have weather updating right there. And we'll start our way down. I'm going to initially start us at about 1,000 feet per minute. That usually works out pretty good. A couple more clicks down. You might have to play with it a little bit. Remember, you can manipulate it the same way by using this guy right there. It does the same thing. We want about 1,000. And I'm going to watch our torque and all that. I'm pretty happy with that. We'll keep speed towards the airport. Just pull them back a little bit. And we'll go now down a little bit more. And you just kind of manipulate it like that. Yeah, it's much nicer out here on this side. Okay, on the way down. That's working pretty good. 5,500 feet is what we want. And we can continue our checklist. It's loading in tiles from Ortho XP. All right, window defog as required. We'll hit play on that. All right, let's actually speed him up. I want to see how fast he can actually go because he takes forever for me. Let's go ahead and hit play on that.
Window defog.
As required. Pretty slow.
As required.
Still. Windshield defrost.
Windshield defrost.
As required.
As
Need that.
required.
Destination weather.
Destination weather.
We've got that. It's going to be 299 or 3. Let's just go ahead and change that now. There we go. That is good.
Recheck.
Approach procedure.
Approach procedures.
Recheck and briefed. We're going to land on visual 2-1.
Recheck and brief.
Cabin signs are still showing
Cabin
on.
sign.
We got no smoking and fasten seatbelt sign. That's those lights you saw back there in the cabin. So those are considered.
Consider.
Exterior lights is required.
Exterior lights.
Those are good. We're not done at
As
10,000 yet.
required.
Altimeters are set.
Altimeters.
And we don't have to worry about a descent or transition checklist.
Set.
How about that? Not too bad at all.
Descent or transition checklist.
Complete. Okay, so now I can just go here and I can just turn him off so I don't have to listen to him anymore. But also, we can just do it manually ourselves for the next checklist, which will work out just fine for the approach. But we're not ready for that yet. We're still in our descent. I'm going to pull power back just a little bit more. There we go. And we don't need to push those props fully forward just yet. We'll wait until we get a little bit closer to the airport before we do that. All right, now the heading bug is working. So that's definitely a bug. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. We're definitely not going directly north. I don't know why that doesn't change. I wish it did, but it just doesn't. So we're just going to kind of manually move ourselves around here. We're going to go to heading mode now. The airplane's going to make that left-hand turn. That is the Air Force Base right off our nose, and then Spokane is right behind it. Right back there. You can see that's the runway we're landing on right over there. We're descending down to 5,500 initially, and we'll do 2,900 for the actual, 3,900 for the actual approach fix for the ILS, but we're not worried about that. Like I said, we're just going to do a visual approach. We'll be on the ground here shortly, 13 miles from the airport. Still looking good on our descent. We can actually increase it by pulling our power back, and we'll increase our rate of descent here. There we go. The 3,900. How about that? 3,900. There we go. We're below 10,000 feet. Lane lights are coming on. Recogs can come on as well. And we can go ahead and just check our approach procedure here. Service de-ice is required. Checked arm for auto throttle. Yes, it is. Fuel balance. We checked that. That's good. Hitting some turbulence on the way in. Yeah, it was expected. That's the sounds you're hearing. Environmental bleed air is going to go to low. Let's put that down to low. There we go. Just like that. Cabin signs are on. Cabin conditions secure. Exterior lights is required. Landing data is reviewed. Approach briefing we've already done. Altitude alerter. Radar altimeter set. Flaps will go to approach mode here shortly. We're going to keep best speed towards the airport as of right now. Now, these clouds, we're few at 5,000, so we can be kind of dancing in and out of them so we get below them. There's the airfield there off to our right. That's the Air Force Base. As you can see, no weather down here, which is not bad at all. Okay, I said that, and now we're in the soup, but I don't think it's going to last very long. I think we're just in the cloud layer when it updated. So we're keeping an eye on our instruments. We're okay. We're not going to go beyond 3,900 feet. That's for certain. Let's pull our power back all the way. Going to make a heading turn this way. Keep an eye on our instruments as we are still in the soup. We'll be below these clouds soon, though. One to go. We're breaking out of the clouds now. Make another right-hand turn here. To the right. There we go. As you can see, this is actually correct. This direction is right, but the others are not, so that's not good. Let's go ahead and push these props forward. Help slow this airplane down quite a bit. We have 3,900. Wow, the conditions are not ideal here at Spokane at all. All right, we can go ahead and turn our autopilot system off. I'm going to take over the airplane myself, and we're going to hand flyer. We're going to make another right turn. We're going to fly over downtown Spokane. The conditions are much better. We broke out of the cloud layer that was behind us, and that's really good. We can go to approach, setting on our flaps. Add a little bit more power in. There's downtown Spokane right there. And we are looking for the field at this time. I think I got it in sight right there. Unless it's the Air Force Base. No, I think that's us. Yeah, I know. We don't have the gear down yet. We're okay. Add a little bit more power. And she'll shut up nicely. That's runway 21 right there. We're on a nice right base for it. Right over there. That's the one we want. Okay, gear's gonna come down. We'll go landing flaps. And we'll go ahead and double check that guy. Taxi lights can come on. And we'll line up for our runway here for 2-1. And we'll get on that blue line. We have the glide slope there, but I've got the PAPI, so we're just going to go ahead and follow it in visually, like we said we would do. Right on the glide slope right now, visually. Let it settle a little bit here. I'm not going to worry about the landing checklist for now. I can't remember if prop sync is on or off during landing, but we're just going to keep it on for now. Man, it's doing all sorts of crazy stuff right now as far as the weather goes. 1,000 feet to minimums, you got it. Right on our VREF. Gear is down, 3 green. We have flaps in. Props are forward. We're clear to land, runway 21. And the winds aren't bad. They're only about 7 knots out of 200. Okay, now boy, okay, Active Sky, you got to pick a weather and stick with it. Don't update it every 5 seconds, my lord. I think it's just because we have we have like scattered at 5,500.
100 feet to minimums.
Okay, more power in here. Back on that blue line. Right on the glide slope, looking good. The flight characteristics of the airplane are fantastic. I really do love the way it flies. It feels like a heavy turboprop airplane. Just letting her come on down naturally. There's runway 21. Gonna be in to round out the flare here shortly. 50. Hold that nose up and flare. Come on, baby. We're gonna open up those reversers. Positive rate. Because of that hump on the actual runway. I'm gonna just kiss her just down like that. We can go into normal. Kill those guys. As we're still taxiing out, we can go ahead and now bring these to low idle. And that'll shut them down. I'll shut them up a little bit. We'll make a left to the next one. I know we're at 40 knots. It's okay. Are you at low idle or no? Now you are. All right, sweet. Now we can use our beta range for taxiing here. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Spokane. Man, that was an interesting flight. I'll tell you that much. Was not expecting the weather to change as much as it was. I was watching the METAR and it was not showing that that was the case. I mean, good thing we plugged our ILS in, but we had visual and we were able to take it in that way. So that worked out for everybody involved. So flaps come up. Make a right turn here. We'll go over to signature. Signature should be up here on the right, actually over there. Make a right turn here. Using our beta range to help with the slowing of the airplane in the turns. Okay, that's good. We can turn our strobe lights off. Recogs can come off. Landing lights are off. We'll taxi over to signature.
Full. Positive rate. Positive rate. 50 feet. Pumps full. Positive rate. Positive rate.
We'll just go park over here in this little corner. Nothing too fancy as far as the actual scenery goes. It is a default scenery. Not very many options for Spokane here. Turn out this way. Here we go, just like that. Actually, let's face this way. I want to have the airplane a little further out so we can see that beautiful background over there. Just like this. We'll park it right here. So we come to a stop there. Put that guy away. And pull out that parking brake so we don't have to mess with that anymore. And now we can just kill the engines. We just go ahead and turn off our master for the avionics. And we'll go fuel cutoff for both engines. And let her shut on down this way. And then we'll kill our battery in a second. That looks good to me right there. Battery can come off. There we go, folks. That's going to do it for us here in X-Plane, checking out the AirfoiLabs King Air 350. I know it was a very long video, but I wanted to make sure I showed this airplane for what it was. There are some bugs. Namely the crossfeed issue. If you're on the FMS and you hit, I think it's 1, 2, or 3, it enters zeros, which is kind of a problem when you're using the FMC. So those things will be taken care of eventually. They're not at this time, but you have to admit it is a beautiful airplane. Let's go ahead and head back here. We'll open up since the airplane's completely interactive, and we can tire down and do everything else we need to do just like that. Well, folks, here we are in Spokane, Washington. Hope you enjoyed the flight. I'll see you all very soon. Take care.